Good evening and welcome to the Saturday edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. I'm Katie Looper, leading our news tonight. A Fairbanks man is in jail after leading law enforcement officials on a high-speed chase that ended with a canine arrest on the Parks Highway. 33-year-old Gareth Ward is charged with felony, eluding and driving with suspended license in connection to the incident. Sergeant Gary Yamamoto with the Fairbanks Police Department said an officer attempted to stop the suspect in construction zone for reckless driving on Airport Way when he fled the scene. Fairbanks Police and Alaska State Troopers used spike strips to attempt to stop the vehicle, and Ward fled on foot. The K-9 unit deployed their dog Striker, who ended up taking him down after the short-foot pursuit. An investigation is still ongoing. The Fairbanks North Star Borough Assembly has moved to replace state truancy laws that had been used to enforce compulsory attendance in area schools with local code. By a vote of 7-1, the Assembly passed an amended ordinance that establishes a warning and fine system for parents of students that accrue too many unexcused absences. The amended ordinance must be approved by the Fairbanks School Board, which is not scheduled to convene until August. Backers of that ordinance, that was sponsored by Assemblyman Carl Castle and Borough Mayor Luke Hopkins, say state laws are too ineffective in combating truancy. The first 9 to testify during public comment all spoke in defiance of the ordinance. One say oversteps parental boundaries.
Due process restrictions of the citation process requiring people to prove themselves innocent, I think, is just completely wrong-headed. And it's kind of typical of the problems that parents have been having for the last 20 or 30 years with regard to institutions that meddle in their children's lives.
You touched on moose hunting season. We want to take 3 days off at the end of a weekend in the fall. There's no scheduled school breaks then. We must ask for permission. We must get the truancy officer's approval for that, which I disagree with. I should be able to make that decision without someone else validating that. They can essentially say no. If I have to ask, someone can say no.
Residents of interior Alaska may see and hear increased flying activity as the second Red Flag Alaska of the calendar year runs through June 27th. RFA provides U.S. and allied pilots, air crews, and operational support personnel the opportunity to train and improve their air combat skills in preparation for a myriad of worldwide contingencies. The exercises are conducted in a Joint Pacific-Alaska Range Complex, with air operations flown out of Eielson, AFB, and Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson in Anchorage, Alaska. A Fairbanks grand jury has indicted a woman on charges of fraudulently filing to receive a permanent fund dividend. The indictment for 44-year-old Kimberly Scott alleges Scott lied on permanent fund dividend applications in both January of 2010 and 2011 and collected a share of Alaska's oil wealth in October of each year. The permanent fund is distributed annually to legal residents of Alaska who meet residency requirements. The indictment charges Scott with 2 counts of unsworn falsification and second-degree theft. A Fairbanks woman in jail accused of possession of a controlled substance as well as promoting contraband while in custody. 25-year-old Tawny Lee Murphy was being housed at North Star Correctional Center for one of 2 felony charges when staff members found methamphetamines on her. An affidavit stated that she had in possession of clear bag containing the drugs and undisclosed amount of cash. The baggie of drugs was sent for testing. Murphy was given bail yesterday at a higher amount due to her prior record.
I think someone who brings methamphetamine, I realize the complaint alleges you say you found it in the bathroom, but I believe that someone who is unwise enough to bring drugs into a correctional facility is a danger to the public. And I'm going to set your bail at $5,000 cash performance bond to ensure the safety of the public.
When we come back, several families gather at the Chena River for something educational. We'll have that story more when the weekend's only televised newscast continues. Stay with us. Welcome back. Good weather made the local stream cleanup day a major success today. They had more volunteers show up than expected, so they were able to provide full coverage of Noy Slough and Chena River through downtown. People in canoes and small boats cleaned in the water and along the banks. People were also sent to clean up trash from beneath several overpasses. Volunteers walked the bike paths along First Avenue between downtown and Pioneer Park. Besides volunteers, there are a lot of agencies participating. The city of Fairbanks has been hosting the event for the past 6 years, but several other agencies are involved.
We also have help from the borough, which is when all this trash gets collected, they've waived the tipping fee at the landfill, so we can all drop it off for free. We also have DOT. The state has rented canoes for the event. We have 8 canoes out there on loan for these volunteers to use, so that's been a big help. And then University of Alaska Fairbanks, they've purchased all the supplies for the events, the grab bags that I had mentioned, the safety vests, you know, and gloves and bug dope and hand cleanser and all those goodies. Those came from UAF. And then we have, you know, other organizations that really just provided people, like the Tanana Valley Watershed Association.
Today, several families gathered downtown for a stroll along the Chena River, stopping at many educational and outdoorsy activities. KTF was there and has more in this report. The third annual Chena River Walk is hosted by the Tanana Valley Watershed Association. It was originally ignited by Executive Director Jules Barker with a purpose to raise awareness and bring families together.
The goal of the event is to bring together organizations in the community that are youth-oriented, that are about connecting with nature and getting families outside. And so they have booths all along the Chena River, and our families come and they check in at the Carlson Center. And this year we have 2 options. They can either take the shorter route, sort of for kids 2 through 6 years of age, and that way they can just hit the 5 booths that are throughout Pioneer Park. Otherwise, the older children, or those that are a little bit more advanced in being able to walk a longer distance, can ride a shuttle to the Morris Thompson Center and take the 1.5 mile, 2 mile walk all the way back, stopping at approximately 9 to 10 booths. And so all of these will have activities and giveaways and fun stuff for the kids to pick up and put in their goodie bag. We give them a water bottle, and they'll have a map of the route and some watershed education information, and it's a great day. It's been a wonderful event.
The Chena River Walk makes for a relaxing stroll along the river, passing through some of the most scenic parks and plazas of historic downtown. The River Walk is a fun and educational event targeted to teach kids about their watershed.
So when you think about it, everything that is forest, everything that is riverbank, everything within the river, all of the different parts of nature are part of a watershed. And if you live on a little stream or a slough, that is a micro-ecosystem for a watershed that goes into a bigger body and a bigger body. And we're part of the Tanana Valley watershed, but that's part of the Yukon River watershed. And all of these then flow to the ocean. So it's a cycle, and we are just here to promote enjoying it and keeping it healthy and fun, and making people aware of all the different elements that there are to connect with nature.
It was a delightful day for a cruise around the heart of Fairbanks. Kids and adults of all ages were able to learn and connect to the Chena River while having a blast outdoors. This is Katie Looper reporting. As of yesterday, over 1,700 people registered for the Midnight Sun Run, and over 500 participants registered today at Big Pickup. This year's Fairbanks celebrates the 32nd annual Midnight Sun Run. Today, crowds swarmed into Pioneer Park Convention Center for the official T-shirt and bib pickup. The race starts at 10 p.m. on June 21st and at the UAF Paddy Center, and finishes with post-race activities at Pioneer Park. Late registration is still available online at Fairbanks Resource Agency or at the UAF Paddy Center on race day. We asked Susan Kramer, race director, about what participants have done so far to get ready for race day.
You know, I think people are excited about getting their T-shirt early and their bib early, and they don't want to worry about getting to race day before 9 o'clock. So this allows them to get that done today, and then they're good to go. But sometimes they put their bib aside and they leave it at home and they forget it, and then I have to give them a new bib. So make sure if you picked up your bib today, put it someplace where you're going to remember it next Saturday.
What makes some people older than their years and others forever young? A World War II veteran from Virginia says that he has figured it out, and he's taking his motorcycle across country to prove it. Bruce Heilman left Virginia early this week on a 10,000-mile trek ending in Fairbanks. He takes a road trip each year to celebrate his birthday, but this will be his longest trip ever for his 88th birthday. There's no news of his current location, but the Richmond Times-Dispatch reports he will be in Fairbanks by June 24th. So what's with his secret to staying young?
And I do a lot of speaking to retirement homes, and I concentrate on letting it be known that you don't quit doing things because you're old. You get old because you quit doing things, and the only way I can back up what I say is to prove it.
Joe Cook is up next with sports, and he has highlights from last night's Gold Panthers game and a story on how special this morning's mosquito meander was for two friends. Stay tuned.
Hello, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here in the Sports Seat for you this evening, bringing you some weekend sports. The Alaska Gold Panthers had their first home game of the season on Friday night. Fans were treated to some Cracker Jacks peanuts and an offensive explosion from the Panthers. Third inning action here. It's a 3-1 game in favor of Alaska over the San Francisco Seals, and Eric Hunting out of Long Beach State takes one out deep left field. That's a 3-1 dinger and gives the Panthers a 6-1 lead. Alaska scored 7 runs in the third inning. David Liederman, he scored 3 runs and went 2 for 3 from the plate as well. Hunting added a bases clearing triple. He had 6 ribbies in this one. Fairbanks' own Scooter Bynum, he went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a stolen base in his Gold Panthers home debut. Starting pitcher Joel Belt threw 4 Ks, 2 walks, had 2 earned in 4 innings of work. The Gold Panthers win 13-4 over the Seals and get their first win of the summer.
You know, we swung the bats pretty good. You know, it's good to get that first win out of the way, especially for this hometown crowd.
I tried to give them some pointers because it's a little slick. This turf is it's aged. It's a little seasoned, so I tried to give them some pointers, and I think we did a good job tonight. We got our first win of the season, so it was good.
We just want them to come out here and gel as a team and embrace the Gold Panther way. And that's the key thing, is them understanding who's played here in the past and them being a part of this history here. And that's a key thing for me.
The 22nd Mosquito Meander was at Pioneer Park this morning. Hundreds of runners, walkers, and people on wheels participated in the 5K. They had beautiful conditions outside. Always a good turnout for this race, but someone had to finish first. And the first one among the competitors, that went to Andrew Bishop. He ran across the finish line in 18 minutes and 17 seconds unofficially. There he is right there. There was something else of note at this year's race. Jeff Fazio and Deanne Gerber, co-workers from a Pennsylvania community college all the way to the interior, they made it to the meander. Fazio is running for Gerber, who suffers from a form of muscular dystrophy. It's the run for those who can't, 4D 5K, 4 for D Gerber, 4 for dystrophy, which benefits the MD Association. Fazio is running 5Ks in all 50 states, and Alaska is the 49th. He also ran for the Fairbanks Family Counseling Center today. He'll run in Hawaii next Sunday to complete a 5K in all 50 states in a year's time. But the meander was special for both of them because it's the first time Gerber was able to see Alaska and to see Fazio run.
That was incredible. I was just hyped up waiting for him, and seeing him across was just incredible. It's an amazing feeling knowing that there's someone out there who's willing to take the initiative and the determination and will to go out and continue to do this, you know, to raise awareness for the muscular dystrophy.
Dee has always had it on her bucket list to make it to Alaska, so why not be this the one she gets to see? So definitely feeling tired today, but it was extra inspiration knowing she was out there and needed to get to that finish line, and we're here. So 49 done in a year.
And well, after the Mosquito Meander, a number of people moseyed over to the Pioneer Park Civic Center to pick up their bibs for the 32nd Midnight Sun Run. The Summer Solstice Run is just a week away, Saturday, June 21st. It's already here. Steady flow of people were coming in and out of the Civic Center to pick up bibs, their race shirts, and to register for this year's race. There is a new color scheme this year with blue shirts, but there will also be up-to-date technology in this year's race. Microchips will be used to track runners' times, something race director Susan Kramer is excited to implement in the biggest running event of the interior.
So when you get your bib, there's going to be a plastic strip on the back that corresponds with your number. And so when you cross the finish line, the pad is just going to read that number and automatically assign you a time. There's no tear off tabs, there's no long chute, there's no people yelling at you to keep on going, it's just really simple. And then that way the timing person, John Estel, he can get the information out way quicker than he's ever been able to get it out.
And today in the Region 4 President's Cup, it ended for interior teams in California. The Phoenix 99 boys team made it into the quarterfinals, but they lost 2-1 to the Wolfpack of Southern Cal. Igor Soshenko gave Phoenix a 1-0 lead with a goal at the 17-minute mark, but the Wolfpack scored twice before the first half would end to gain the lead. The Phoenix boys team finished 1-3 at the tournament. And last night, the hockey world witnessed the Los Angeles Kings win the Stanley Cup. The Kings won their cup on home ice Friday night, defeating the New York Rangers 3-2 in double overtime. Alec Martinez, he scored the cup-clinching goal off a rebound shot, beating Henrik Lundqvist of the New York Rangers. The Kings win Stanley Cup final in 5 games, 4-1. Fans going crazy inside and out of the Staples Center. What was really cool was that during the broadcast in the second overtime, NBC play-by-play announcer Mike Doc Emmerich gave a shout-out to the Fairbanks Ice Dogs on winning the Robinson Cup and the Alaska Aces for winning the Kelly Cup. How about that? Justin Williams of the Kings was named MVP and winner of the Conn Smythe Trophy. It's LA's second cup in 3 years. And that'll do it for sports tonight. Thanks for rocking with me this Saturday. Katie Looper is next with your full weather forecast. We'll catch you next time. Well, welcome back, Interior Alaska. Me and Katie, we were talking during the break about, the weather. And, I was out there this morning, at the Mosquito Meander and the bit pickup. Just lots of sun.
Another lovely day.
Yes, most definitely.
And it looks like we got another solid week coming up. We can take a look into our weather almanac. Starting with our normal high today of 72 and a normal low of 49. Our record high was 90 in 1969 and a record low of 34 in 1992. The sunrise and sunset equals 21 hours and 37 minutes, giving us a gain of 3 minutes from yesterday. Well, around the state today, it's partly cloudy in southeast and around Kodiak. The southeast in Anchorage is partly cloudy. Up and down the west coast, it's partly cloudy again and cooler in Nome. On the north slope, it's snowing in Barrow. Now let's go to our lower 48. It's partly cloudy in the northwest with temperatures ranging from low 60s to low 80s. In the southwest, it's baking in the hundreds. Phoenix is a whopping 103. In the Central Plains, rain is falling, and in the deep south, it's looking hot and humid. Looks like lightning storms in the southeast and north up the east coast. It's mostly cloudy with highs in the mid-70s. And for next week's outlook, cooler temperatures around the northwest. It's going to continue to be really hot in the southwest, hot and humid in the deep south, and nice and warm around the rest of the states. Looking back in Alaska, starting with the north slope, dense fog for Barrow, mostly cloudy for Nome, and mostly clear for Fort Yukon. Now for the interior, mostly cloudy and isolated thunderstorms for Fairbanks, showers for Healy, and partly cloudy for Delta. Moving south, looks like rain for Juneau and Ketchikan. On the southwest side of Alaska, partly cloudy in Cold Bay and Bethel, and mostly clear in Kodiak. For south central, it's cloudy with showers for Anchorage and rain for Valdez and Homer. As you can see for tonight's cast, it's going to be 50, partly cloudy with isolated thunderstorms. Tomorrow, it's going to warm up to be about 65 and mostly sunny. For our full week extended forecast, we got nice weather all across the board, mid-60s and mid-45 around the rest of the week. So that'll wrap up our weather.
All right, sounds good. Mid-60s to 70s. Pretty good for this time of year. So,
yeah.
As we're creeping up in the temperatures as the summer comes along. So, be good weather for all the baseball going on.
We got a big week next week, Midnight Sun Run, Gold Panners.
Yes,
it's going to be a big
all on
day.
The same day.
1,700 already registered.
I know.
And another 500 a day, you said?
Yeah, pretty much. It's going to be, I think, it's going to be thousands of people everywhere. People at the Midnight Sun Run, people at the Midnight Baseball game. I'm going to try to split myself in two somehow so I can be at both
And they happen to be right next to each other.
Right. I'm going to figure that out. I'm going to clone myself or something for next weekend.
Well, that'll wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We're glad you could join us.
And NBC Nightly News is coming up next.
Well, join us 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
I'm Joe Cook. That's Katie Looper. For all of us here at the News Center, have a good night.
Good night.